Here is 5 agency niches you can get into right now, which are untapped, which you can get into to make shitloads of money in 2026. Now, the first thing that I would recommend before we start this is get into the US market. The reason I say that is because the US customers have way more money to spend than UK customers. Honestly, if I was to start over again now, I would 100% get into the US. We've had US clients before, and they literally pay 5 to 10 times the amount that UK business owners would be willing to spend on a test run. So that's just a preface before we get into this. Get into the US market. Don't get into the UK market if you have the choice. Now, in terms of lead gen niches to get into, or in terms of niches to get into for your marketing agency, whatever sort of service that you're looking to provide, you're looking to get into a market which is ever expanding. You don't want to get into something that's small, that's shrinking even, that new technology is going to replace, because that's going to put you in a bad situation a few years down the line. And hopefully you want to build some sort of equity, enterprise value around your agency before you either exit or just build up your business to a point where you can get into something else, right? So that's the first thing you want to look into. And to get into the first niche, it is solar plus battery for residential homeowner installers and also commercial installers as well. So solar plus battery is really good. A lot of people say it's a dying industry in the US right now. I don't think so. I've got some friends who have actually got into the US market now and are making shitloads of money. It's even better right now because it's made it so hard for the installers to actually get leads and get sales that marketing agencies are thriving because they're in desperate need of more leads and sales. So solar plus battery is basically installing solar panels on a roof and people get a return on investment from it. It's a financial asset. You literally get a direct return on investment for investing a certain amount of money. And that return is usually much better than the stock market, almost double the percentages. In the UK, it's 22% return on investment each year. I think on commercial, it's just 4-year, 5-year paybacks. Sometimes it's even smaller than that. So yeah, it's a really good niche to get into. It's a no-brainer for the customer. Also, the installers are very keen for leads. Now, number 2 is the sort of AI and Now, number 2 is less of a specific industry, but it's more of a niche service. So I would get into selling of implementation to reduce costs for businesses. So that would look like basically a free audit to go into a business and show them where they can save costs instantly. And obviously it's quite an intimate service. It's going to be a high ticket service, so you need to go in by just purely building the relationship, so either providing like a free audit, a free service, something of that. But the whole build is the whole offer is around showing them how they can save costs just showing them how they can save costs from day one. And if you can genuinely save costs on their software and stuff like that by building them stuff out, then you can just charge them whatever their current software is charging them, but maybe at 50% reduced rate, get them on a 12-month contract after a month or whatever. For example, like a CRM build. If they've currently got a CRM, you can replicate their current CRM with your own software build out. You build it out, and then from there you would get, trial it for 1 month, then get them on a 12-month contract. Bang, you got a high ticket recurring service there, and then you can template it, right? And then you can implement it into another business and just so on. So I would just look at building out bespoke software. You can do no code now with Claude Code and stuff like that, but just be an AI specialist, right? Everyone's talking about it. It's a big new thing. Loads of businesses aren't optimized. Loads of businesses are using old software, which is charging them ridiculous amounts of money. For example, for me right now, I have a massive pain point around the CRM that I'm currently using, because I'm spending 10 grand a month on my CRM across my businesses. And if I found a CRM which was much cheaper or was charging me let's say 50% less, and the functionality was exactly the same, then I would just switch over instantly, right? And if you can structure that offer around okay, if you can structure the offer around them reducing cost, then they will just switch that cost over to you, and you're then just making a lot more money. So definitely AI, build outs, custom software, that sort of thing. But the thing to keep in mind with this is that you need to go in with something free so that you can build that trust and go from there. Because if you have an intimate build out, a lot of people that like think that they can just charge up front for that sort of thing. The biggest thing that like you'll have an issue with is the trust element, right? They don't know you from Paul. So you need to go and build trust, show them that you can do what you say you can do, and then help them reduce costs. And in return, they're going to switch that cost over to you, and then you're going to obviously get a good long-term client from that. Okay, so the next niche is marketing agencies. And I think a lot of people do target marketing agencies already, but they usually get it wrong, right? A lot of people that get into the marketing agency space are trying to get people to buy from them through Instagram and stuff like that. But if you're first starting out, then you literally have no credibility. So what you need to do is you need to pull a list of marketing agencies, directors, and CEOs and FDs and all that sort of thing. You need to pull marketing agencies from Apollo, etc. I'd recommend you go for minimum 10 employees, maybe even more, because the barrier to entry to start a marketing agency is virtually zero. So you need to make sure that you have one with a bit of money behind them. So I'd say minimum 10 employees. We're probably at 40 to 50 now, and obviously we're qualified to buy from other marketing agencies, and we have in the past. So definitely target people with more employees for marketing agencies. And what you want to offer them is something, it's going to have to be savvy, because marketing agencies, they're obviously all marketing focused. So they know about offers, they know about what's good, what's not good. They probably know how to, maybe in some cases, know how to generate leads. I think even in the marketing agency space, a lot of people don't know how to generate leads. A lot of people rely on word of mouth, that sort of thing. So definitely recommend getting into the marketing agency space, but beware that they're going to be a bit more savvy than other sort of niches, maybe like construction, stuff like that. So construction's probably the easiest, lowest barrier to entry. But with marketing, you can do very well there if you have a good offer. But it is competitive, but that also means that you can also make a lot of money from it. So I definitely recommend that. Now the next one is recruitment agencies. So similar to marketing agencies, the barrier to entry is virtually zero. So what you need to do is you need to target businesses that have minimum 10 employees. Otherwise you're just going to be sat in front of loads of people who don't have any money. And with them, they specialize in lots of different fields. Each one of those recruitment agencies, it's probably the same as marketing agencies as well, but each one of those recruitment agencies have a very specific niche sort of field. Some of them would target like broad industry, more role focused stuff. So they'll focus on like sales roles and stuff like that. Those are the best types of recruitment agencies to work with, because number one, it's easy to fulfill, because lots of companies want salespeople because they create a direct return on investment for their business, especially if they have a book of business. And on the front end, it's easy to, if you're going to reach out to recruitment agencies, offering them to get in front of more businesses who want to use their services, it's usually a no-brainer, especially if they have a bit of money behind them. But you just need to have a good sort of offer, a good sort of deal. You need to make sure that you'll be able to fulfill it. And yeah, it's a hard one. A lot of people don't target it, but if you can do it well, I've personally coached someone to do an 80 to 100k a month in the recruitment agency niche. So it's definitely possible, but it just takes a little bit of work. But yeah, that's an untapped niche that no one's going after, which is really good. Sales, solar, marketing, recruitment, solar. Yeah. And the final sort of niche that you can go after, which I'm going to call this a niche because you're going to have to switch to the next one and the next one and the next one like continuously, because it's a little bit draining, but it's also hot, right? It's whatever's hot at the time. So you want to basically look for grant-based niche. And why I say that's a niche in general is, like I said before, like you're going to have to be switching from one to one. Like for example, in the UK, we had something called Eco4, which is basically like a grant-based thing where people could get like solar, battery, insulation, heat pumps installed into their home for free because of a government incentive. So those are really good because you can basically fulfill like really easily and make a lot of money from fulfillment if the incentive is genuinely really good. But the issue with that is that the people who you're usually selling to don't want to pay for the service. They want to share the revenue on the back end. And I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad idea, but I'm just saying that it's relatively hard to control your scalability with that sort of model, unless the appointment is they close on the first appointment or whatever like that, then you can probably scale. But grant-based, incentive-based industries are really good to get into. I would look at, okay, wherever you're targeting, what's like local grants, what's the government pushing? Because that's usually like the direction of where the country's going in the future, whatever they're pushing at that time. You get a lot of incentives with solar, you get a lot of incentives with battery storage, you get a lot of incentives with like renewables in lots of places, especially in Europe. Europe's a good place to target in general. I don't think there's a lot of agencies targeting those spaces. In the US, there's lots of grant-based stuff as well. Not sure in what spaces. I remember there was some stuff with solar before, but I think it's dried up a little bit now with the Trump administration. But you can definitely find a lot of government-based incentives that you can utilize to support your fulfillment and stuff like that. For example, in the UK, we have EV chargers, so you can basically give 50% of a commercial EV charger installation for free. Heat pumps as well, air source heat pump in the UK, you basically get £7,500 off of an air source heat pump based on the government scheme. So grant-based, incentive-based stuff is going to be really easy. The installers are keen on it, but they're getting into the industry to do it, or whatever industry it is. And also there's a lot of education-based incentives, education-based grants and stuff like that. So if you're like a private education agency, that could potentially be quite a good shout. But yeah, it's a good dynamic. You can fulfill really well because it's a good offer to the target market, and also the people who provide the service are usually keen to get in front of people as well. So that's my top 5 sort of niche agency type builds that you can go for. If you found value from this, please make sure that you subscribe and check out my website if you want to apply for one-to-one coaching. I've also got free value coming out every single day on Instagram as well. That's also in the link in the description, so check that out as well.